Hello, ladies and gentlemen, international football is finally back. Yes, as soon as club football returns, the international break haters have responded. But most of you love international break just as much as me, so all's good for us. And of course, I'm continuing this series predicting every single UEFA World Cup qualifier match, and now we're on match days 5 and 6. This will be one of the best breaks for this confederation in particular as well, as because now finally, every single UEFA nation will be participating in the World Cup qualifiers. All the groups of 5 have already started, but the groups of 4 have not played a single match yet. It's genuinely crazy that this is the case when 13 teams have already qualified for the World Cup. Anyway, it's crunch time for UEFA over the next few months, meaning there's a lot of content to come on this channel in regards to the World Cup qualifiers in this confederation. I'll be doing my best to cover the other confederations as well, so please, if you're new here, make sure you subscribe to the channel and leave an early like. This time I'll be showing my group standings at the very end of the video, but yeah, let's get straight into it. Let's kick things off with one of the more underrated fixtures here, Kazakhstan versus Wales. Very important match for both actually. Kazakhstan really need to take advantage of playing at home. Traveling there is quite the journey for any team, but for Wales, it's gotta be one of the worst. Anyway, Kazakhstan do have a match in hand compared to Macedonia and Wales, but very much need to catch up. Right now they're 4 points behind Wales, but they can very much lessen that point gap, and right now they've got a wonder kid on their hands. Watch out for Dastan Sapayev, who is actually owned by Chelsea, but the 17-year-old has been tearing it up for Kairat. Now, Kazakhstan will not be the favorites going into this with the rest of their squad on paper, and also based on their previous results. Kazakhstan only grabbed 1 win so far against Liechtenstein, while already losing to both Wales and Macedonia, even getting destroyed by Belarus in a friendly during the duration. An upset will be so cool to see. They need to find that motivation from the Euro 2024 qualifiers. But Wales' fighting spirit has been one of the best in this group. I mean, in 3 out of 4 matches they played in, they scored 3 goals, even against Belgium. So sorry Kazakhstan, but I'll have to give it to Wales. I'll say it's closer than people think though. It's gonna finish 2-1. Lithuania versus Malta. Now we have so many matches to go through, so I'll definitely have to be brief on some, including this one. Look, neither of these countries have picked up a win yet, while the rest have 2. It's a battle of the minnows here. They've already faced one another as well, and it finished in a draw. I could see the same thing happening, but I'll say Lithuania pull through with the 1-0 victory. Georgia versus Turkey is one of those matches from the groups of 4 now, meaning we have not seen either of these teams play a single World Cup qualifier match yet. And I really could see this one going either way, as Georgia have really proven to be a serious underdog in Europe right now, while Turkey have established themselves quality-wise but are still way too unpredictable. These two countries met in the Euro group stage last year where Turkey did get a solid victory, but Georgia just put off some admirable fights in the Nations League, including destroying Armenia 9-1 on aggregate. Turkey also had a statement victory in the Nations League playoffs where they scored 3 goals against Hungary in each of the legs, but did bottle first place in their group to Montenegro. The recent friendlies were against 2 out of 3 World Cup hosts where they did not field their greatest lineups, but did get a win and lost there. With Georgia playing at home as well, I really could see this one going either way. Even a draw could happen. But I will be backing Turkey to grab the 3 points. I think they'll start strong here. Still though, another close scoreline. I'm gonna go for 2-1. Just please do not start buying there for your own good. Netherlands versus Poland should be really interesting, but I do think there will be a clear winner. As most of us know, Poland are not in the best of situations right now. Lewandowski resigning from the national team after having a fall-off with their coach Probiers. This resulted in the FA immediately sacking their coach, knowing that they could not lose their best player. Maybe there's more underlying detail to that story, so my Polish viewers, please let me know if I'm missing something. Anyway, they've gone now for Jan Urban, who's had loads of experience coaching for Polish clubs, and he's already getting one of the toughest of tests right off the bat. I'm still not a huge fan of Koeman to be the manager of the Netherlands national team if they want to compete with the best of the best. But when he's met with the team that they should be beating on paper, he usually gets the job done. 8-0 to Malta in their last match, 2-0 to Finland previously, only playing 2 matches so far as they face Spain in the Nations League, where they just lost on penalties. 5-5 on aggregate, both results finished in draws. This team is stacked, so I cannot see Poland trying to build up from the mess that they've created. I'm going to go for 3-1 even with Lewandowski's return. Luxembourg versus Northern Ireland now. This one is tough to call. Both teams have been on their own kind of rise lately. Luxembourg being a really tough team to break down as of late, but they did disappoint in the Nations League recently, while also having Northern Ireland in their group, failing to beat them both times. This might be their golden chance, but Northern Ireland's squad I'd say is one of the most exciting right now. Qualifying for the World Cup itself might be a steep task, but this nation definitely have what it takes to continue to build with the young crop of talent they have. They worked together wonderfully recently to defeat Bulgaria 5-0, for example, with Shea Charles, Trajhum, Isaac Price, and Justin Deveni. Connor Bradley should be returning from injury at this point of time as well, so Michael O'Neill's army could be coming at full force. The problem with this team though is their recent away record. Quite poor, as the last match won on the road was all the way back in March 2024. That's why I think this one might finish in a draw, as that's what happened last time Northern Ireland did travel to Luxembourg. I'll say it finishes 1-1. Looking at that same group though, Slovakia versus Germany. Obviously Slovakia are not to be underestimated in Europe, and many are favoring them to get second in this group. But now they are facing one of the toughest teams in the Confederation. Germany under Nagelsmann was incredibly impressive at the Euros. However, they did slip in the recent Nations League finals while playing at home. They lost to Portugal and even France in the third place match. Obviously tougher teams on paper compared to Slovakia, but they really need to bounce back now here to avoid further skepticism and not really fall off in form. Slovakia have not picked up a win all of 2025 though, so I'm going to favor Germany to bounce back in form. They're going to win 3-1. Liechtenstein versus Belgium. There is no chance Belgium is losing here. Now, they are not the best right now, even though they're undefeated so far, still conceding too many goals. But they should get a comfortable 5-0 victory against Liechtenstein, even with Lukaku injured for some time. Bulgaria versus Spain, I think, is another clear winner here. Bulgaria for some years now have been facing their dark times, and for them to think they can get a result against Spain, well, that would be quite optimistic. Now, they do sometimes hold off teams impressively to draws, but I don't really see them doing that here. I think Spain will win 4-0, to be honest. Greece versus Belarus. Finally, we are seeing Greece in these World Cup qualifiers. I personally have high hopes for this nation. I love their Serbian manager, Ivan Jovanovic, who I've talked about numerous times. They have so many exciting wonder kids bursting into the scene, already making a name for themselves on the senior team as well. In their last 3 matches, they've scored 3 goals minimum each and are on a beautiful run of form. So I'm expecting big things from them to even maybe qualify for the World Cup. But they need to start strong here, and I think they will. 4-0 victory for Greece. The Faroe Islands versus Croatia. Why am I nervous for this one? I know I shouldn't be, but Croatia were too good in their first 2 matches played, destroying our biggest threat in the qualifier group, Czech Republic, and even scoring loads against Gibraltar. It just makes me think a slip is coming, because this nation never liked to do qualification campaigns perfectly. I'm a bit disappointed Zlatko Dalic did not select Vušković in the squad, to be honest, especially with some defenders having unknown return dates. Even Luka Sučić might be facing a temporary ban with the national team since he prioritized his sister's wedding. But excited to see how Ivanovic carries up this season up top if he's selected to start. Okay, in all seriousness, I know I get pessimistic with my own national team, but I have to back them in a fixture like this. The Faroe Islands have made it very cagey for many of their opponents though. They often lose, but only by 1 goal. The last time it's been more than one was all the way back in June 2024. So it might be closer than people think, especially with them at home. But I'll say Croatia do get the 2-0 victory. Slovenia versus Sweden. Now, in general, I am so excited to see what happens in this group. It's filled with possibilities. People consider Slovenia to be an underdog, but they have been very much impressing recently. At the Euros, they really proved their great defensive line. And even after, the only team that really took advantage of them was Norway. But their attack has been phenomenal lately. Arguably though, Sweden are going to be just as dangerous if they can connect the dots. These guys randomly turn up together, scoring 4 goals against Algeria to 5 goals against Northern Ireland. But Slovenia are going to be no pushovers, and they could struggle away. I'm actually going to say this one finishes in a 1-1 draw. Moldova versus Israel. Both these sides have not met in this campaign yet, but both took a beating to Norway, while Moldova lost to Estonia and Israel defeated them twice. It's either going to be a draw or a win for Israel, I'd say, but I'll say Israel win 2-1. Switzerland versus Kosovo. Wow, if only Shaqiri did not retire internationally. Switzerland are the biggest favorites, but Kosovo have been on a tear lately. 5-2 against Iceland on aggregate in the Nations League, then 5 goals against Armenia and 4 against Comoros in friendlies. I don't know how that match was organized though, but one could argue that their form is why Dua Lipa pushed to get her 3rd citizenship. Switzerland have also scored loads against the World Cup hosts in recent friendlies, which is a huge boost for them, as after the Euros they seem to dip a bit in form. I feel like a side like Switzerland though would not underestimate Kosovo. They know how good they can be with how many quality players they have. If this were an away fixture for them, I would say Kosovo could pull off at least a draw, but I do think Switzerland have what it takes to get 3 points, and I'll say they get a 4-2 victory. Montenegro versus Czechia. This match already happened in June where Czechia did get the 2-0 win. But maybe now Montenegro's neighbor crushed their opposition's confidence. I would not sleep on Crna Gora at home as they took down 30K recently with Krstovic earning a hat-trick. He's a great underrated striker who just transferred to Atalanta as well. Crna Gora could easily surprise, but I think Czechia will bounce back for a 2-1 victory. Denmark versus Scotland though, this one is really 50-50 for me. Both quality sides with some fantastic names. I mean, Scott McTominay has totally revolutionized himself at Napoli, but even before that transfer, he was tearing it up for the national team. Let's not forget how incredible he was at the Euro qualifiers, but the nation's form recently has been way too back and forth, so it's hard to gauge where this one will go. I mean, they finished off the Nations League quite well, not losing any of their last 3 matches, but then in the playoffs, they beat Greece away 1-0, and then totally bottled their lead, losing 3-0 in the second. After that, they lost to Iceland as well in a friendly, but did come back against Liechtenstein. While Denmark did go toe-to-toe with Portugal in the Nations League quarterfinals, until they obviously collapsed in extra time of the second leg, their form does look a bit better on the surface, but I wouldn't say it's saying much. A few unknown injury statuses with players as well, including Isaacson, Nordgaard. I have no idea what to say on this one. I think both sides are also curious how they're going to start things off. This is probably going to be my biggest guess out of them all, but I'll say Denmark win 2-1. Now for Italia versus Estonia. As I've talked about in numerous videos now, Italy are in a very bad situation. Losing to Norway 3-0 in the last break, they very much need to turn things around. They did immediately sack Spalletti, but now they have hired Gattuso. This guy, for me, I don't know if he's the answer for the national team. He doesn't really have the best resume. I mean, he just bottled the Croatian League title. And out of all the clubs he has managed, he only achieved over a 50% record of wins with Napoli. Italy's situation is obviously warring times. It would be insane if they do not qualify for their 3rd World Cup in a row, but that's a topic for another day. But that mystery will linger on for some time as they put themselves in this horrible position. They got to focus on this match day though for now, and I think they will clean up against Estonia. So far, they've only picked up 1 win against Moldova, 3 losses. This should be comfortable for Italy. I'll say they win 3-0. Iceland versus Azerbaijan, I'm going to be very quick on this, as Azerbaijan have not picked up a win since June 2024. Of course, they had some difficult opponents, but they also got outclassed by Haiti and Belarus. Surely this one's going to Iceland. I'm saying it finishes 3-1. Ukraine versus France. Ukraine have a lot of quality and they shouldn't be underestimated, but I think the national team as a whole are under poor guidance. Of course, there's some positives like Sarbani just signing for PSG. Great options to choose from in between the sticks, but the form has been too all over the place lately. They got an impressive win against Belgium, defeating them 3-1, for example, in the Nations League, and then totally collapsed in the second leg. Took them a while to come back from that. I mean, they also lost to Canada in a friendly, conceding 4 goals to them. And even in the Nations League group stage, they were 2 back and forth, finishing second at the end, but still. Not to mention, one of their best players, Mudryk, has been banned. France had a thrilling match with Spain in the Nations League semifinals, losing 5-4, and then defeating Germany in the 3rd place match. Also, the quality France have had on paper over the years, I mean, they are definitely the clear favorites. I'm going to say it finishes 2-0, but who knows, Ukraine might put off a better fight. Latvia versus Serbia now. I told you all since the beginning, watch out for this nation. I knew it was going to be between Serbia and Albania probably for that playoff spot. Who knows, maybe England will dip as well, but I had the feeling that Latvia will make one or even both of those playoff contenders struggle. And they already pulled off a draw with Albania, which is a massive setback, and Serbia can definitely take advantage now. I've had many rants about the Serbian national team. I definitely think they could be better than they actually are right now, especially under Pixie, who's not getting the best out of them. But in qualifier campaigns, he seems to be doing all right. In this qualifier campaign so far, he's undefeated, drawing with their best friends Albania, while also getting some impressive wins in the Nations League, finally defeating their rival Switzerland, and also defeating Austria in the playoffs. Would I be surprised at all if Latvia pull off another 1-1 draw at their own home ground? Not at all. But I do think Serbia are the favorites in this. I think they can pull off a 1-0 victory. Now moving on to Armenia versus Nations League champions Portugal. This should be an easy win for Portugal. No offense, Armenia, but you guys are in the mud. Last win was all the way back in November as you lost to Georgia 9-1 on aggregate in the Nations League, 5-2 to Kosovo, drew with Montenegro 2-2. Imagine after all that, they come back in form against such an amazing nation in UEFA. No way I can see it. I think Ronaldo will have a fantastic match here. I'm going to say Portugal win 5-0. England versus Andorra. Now, normally off the bat, I'd just give England a crazy scoreline victory. But that's what I did last time, and look what happened. Just 1-0 for England, despite Andorra only having 17% possession. Alright, you know what? Surely it will go better this time. Maybe I won't be too ambitious, but I'll say the Three Lions will get a 4-0 win at home. Moving on to Austria versus Cyprus. Austria in recent years have been in very interesting form. I mean, they go from being absolutely praised at the Euros for topping that difficult group, to bottling first place in the Nations League, to losing to Serbia, but now they bounce back, defeating Romania and then San Marino. 2-for-2 wins so far in World Cup qualification. Surely they can make it 3-for-3 here. Cyprus have made it tricky for some of the teams, but I still think that Austria will win 2-0 here. Oh, this fixture is going to be good. San Marino versus Bosnia. Now, as we all know, San Marino, worst national team in the world according to the FIFA rankings. They only have defeated one other nation in their history, Liechtenstein. And I hate to say it because I do love Bosnia, but they really could be motivated here to get their second win against a different nation, obviously, apart from Liechtenstein. These sides faced in the last break while Bosnia were at home, and they only could pull off a 1-0 victory. They had to rely on Dzeko to save the day, as he was planning to recover from his injury in this match. The best defensive performance San Marino had in this World Cup qualifier campaign. All the other matches so far, they conceded more than one goal. So will they be able to sharpen up? I would be a bit embarrassed for Bosnia if they do pull it off, despite me wanting to see this nation continue to succeed. At the end of the day though, despite me being a tad bit disappointed in Bosnia for only defeating San Marino 1-0, they have a phenomenal advantage so far, 3-for-3 wins. All of their fights were close, but I think they can make it 4-for-4 here. I'm going to say they defeat San Marino away 2-0. And the last match of Matchday 5, wow, we went through so much already. We have a whole nother match day to go. Ireland versus Hungary. I'm actually really excited about this one. Definitely the ones I'm more 50-50 about. Hungary, you can argue, have more established pieces to their team, but the recent form has been far from good. Since the Euros have ended, the only teams that they were able to beat were Bosnia and Azerbaijan. While Ireland also make things a bit too dull at times, like failing to beat Luxembourg again and picking up some other very narrow victories, there's a lot of positives to this team, like their goalkeeper Kelleher, who's kept them in the match many times. Backline as well is looking quite good with Jake O'Brien and Nathan Collins, to Evan Ferguson having new beginnings, just signing for Roma, becoming the first ever Irish player that has signed for the Italian club. And I only talked about Hungary's results after the Euros, but at the Euro tournament as well, they were deemed to be the underdog of the tournament, and they absolutely flopped. I think this side have been way too underwhelming lately, despite them looking very decent on paper. I do think Ireland have what it takes to win this match. It might be considered an upset, but I'm saying they pull it off, just a 2-1 victory. All right, that's the end of Matchday 5. Let's move on to Matchday 6 now. I might speed run through a few of these matches because there's just so much to cover, and I already went into some detail with many of these teams. Starting out with Georgia versus Bulgaria. Who knows if Georgia will be able to take down Turkey in Matchday 5? But either way, I see them destroying Bulgaria, especially with them at home as well. I think it could be 3 or 4-0. I'll go with 3-0. Lithuania versus the Netherlands. It should be a comfortable win for the Dutch. I'll go for 4-0 here. Macedonia versus Liechtenstein. Please don't bottle this, Macedonia. I'll say you guys win this one 3-0. Belgium versus Kazakhstan. For some reason, I see Belgium making some defensive error, but they'll still win the match 3-1. Poland versus Finland. Now, this one will be interesting as Finland did defeat Poland last time around. That was obviously in the mix with all the Lewandowski drama. This will definitely not stand by the time the 6th match day rolls around, but at the time of this recording, Finland are at the top with 7 points, but with way more matches played than the other teams. So they could be fueled to overtake Poland for that potential playoff spot because, let's face it, Netherlands are topping that group. But I think Poland will finally go back to winning ways here. Of course, it's going to be tough against the Netherlands, but Finland, they should be able to handle, especially with their star striker back. I'm saying it finishes 2-1. Moving on now to Turkey versus Spain. Now, definitely, no doubt about it, Spain are the favorites in this. But Turkey are one of the most unpredictable national teams in the world. And with them playing at home, that is a massive advantage. We all know how Turkish fans can be. Despite Spain being regarded now as one of the best teams in the world, they've been conceding a lot of goals. In their last 5 matches, they've conceded 2 goals minimum each. In regards to Turkey, they'll always defy the odds. They could lose to the Faroe Islands and then defeat the Netherlands the next day. So for this match, I could genuinely see an upset. That thumbnail was not clickbait. I do think Turkey will win 3-2. What? I already know how some of the comments are going to go, saying I'm biased, as I'm sure some of you might know my fiance is Turkish. But I don't care. This is what I see happening. It could age absolutely terribly, I know. Does this mean I think Turkey will top the group? No. I do think in the future, Spain will come back against this nation when they face at home. But we've already seen a similar instance. Scotland did defeat Spain in the Euro qualifiers. They held on to first place for some time, and then Spain went to take their spot back and ended up winning the whole tournament as well, while Scotland got grouped. So yes, I see Turkey having a very strong start, but they might collapse later on and finish in that playoff spot, while Spain end up qualifying for the World Cup. But for the first match, yes, say what you want, but I think Spain will just fall short. Both attacks are looking incredible. I mean, of course, Yamal is considered one of the best players in the world now, but Turkey have got Kenan Yildiz, who has been exceptional lately. This is probably going to age so badly, I know, but I didn't go for many upsets in this video. This will be my big one. Luxembourg versus Slovakia next. Luxembourg could hold off Slovakia to a draw, but I think Slovakia will pull off the 1-0 away victory, getting their first win of 2025. Deutschland versus Northern Ireland. Despite Northern Ireland having a very exciting squad on their hands, Germany should be winning this one 5-0. Kosovo versus Sweden. Don't want to rule out Kosovo here. I already explained their great form lately. Sweden might have a more tricky international break than they'd imagine. I mean, both their matches they have to play away. I really want to see Kosovo do it, but I do think Sweden will win 3-1. But moving on to the other match in that group, Switzerland versus Slovenia, it's going to be a 2-1 for the Swiss. Some people see them bottling this group, but I think they'll at least have a strong start. Belarus versus Scotland. Scotland should definitely take this one. I think they'll win 2-0 away. Hrvatska versus Crna Gora is going to be incredible, but with Croatia at home, they definitely should take care of their neighbors. I'm going to say it finishes 3-0. Israel versus Italy. Italy are definitely the favorites in all the recent meetings. Italy were able to win. I think it will be a similar instance as the last time they traveled away for this fixture. I think Italy will win 2-1. Gibraltar versus the Faroe Islands. Gibraltar have never gotten a qualifier win in their history. Faroe Islands should win 2-0. This one, though, is going to be good. Greece versus Denmark. Two absolute quality sides with one of them definitely on the come up. Maybe I'm overhyping Greece, but I think they can have the perfect window. I'm going to say they can have a statement victory here, defeating Denmark 3-1. Armenia versus Ireland. This seems like the perfect type of cagey match where Ireland win 1-0. Azerbaijan versus Ukraine. Despite Ukraine's iffy situations within the national team, they should take care of Azerbaijan. I'll go for 3-0. France versus Iceland. At home, Iceland might put up a fight, but I think France have what it takes to win something like 5-1. Cyprus versus Romania. Like I mentioned, Cyprus, despite losing often, have been putting off some decent fights. So I think they're going to go toe-to-toe with Romania a bit, but Romania will get the win at the end. It's going to finish 2-1. Serbia versus England. Of course, England are the favorites on paper, but Serbia love to catch people off guard in qualifier campaigns. Let's not forget what happened in the World Cup qualifiers when they topped the group over Portugal on the final match day. Are we going to see some kind of drama like that in Belgrade? I think that's where this one's being played. Or will England just do the job comfortably? This will be their toughest task, I reckon, within this group. Last time they faced in the Euros, England just pulled off the 1-0 victory. Surely England will not finish with an absolutely perfect qualifier campaign. They have to draw points at some point. So if it's going to be any moment, this is probably it. I don't think Serbia will win, but I do think it will finish in a 0-0 draw. Hungary versus Portugal should have a clear winner on the surface. Like I mentioned, Nations League champions versus a side that is not looking to be in the best form. Hungary could surprise, but I think Portugal will get a 2-1 victory away. Bosnia versus Austria. I think this is Bosnia's biggest test yet. As yes, they've already gotten 3 for 3 wins and are looking to get 4 for 4 if they do beat San Marino. Austria is without a doubt the toughest team on paper in their group. So they very much need to get some kind of statement victory in order to secure first place still. Even a draw would be a good result for them, I think. But although Austria have been back and forth with form, unfortunately, I do think Bosnia's luck will run out here. I don't even want to say that they've been lucky, but they really have been scraping through some results. So I'm sorry, Bosnia. I hope I'm wrong, obviously, but I think it's going to finish 2-1 for Austria away. Norway versus Moldova. Last time it finished 5-0. I'm going to say it's 6-0 this time. And the final match we're looking at in this video is a repeat of Albania versus Latvia. Albania now know that they cannot rule out this side, but I still think this one's going to be a bit cagey. I see them pulling off the win though. They're going to get 3 points, but it will just be 1-0. Well, there you have it, guys. Those are all my matchday predictions, but let me show you all the standings before I sign off. All right, hopefully I calculated all this right. So at first place, we have Germany with 6 points, Slovakia at second, Luxembourg third, and Northern Ireland fourth. Group B has Switzerland at first with 6 points, Sweden at second with 4, Slovenia at third with 1, and Kosovo at last with 0. Group C has Greece in first with 6 points, Denmark at second with 3, Scotland at third with 3 as well, and Belarus at last with no points. Group D, same exact point calculations, but we have France at first, Ukraine second, Iceland third, and Azerbaijan fourth. Group B, again the same point distribution, but yes, I do have Turkey at first, but I don't think that will stay. Spain gets second with 3, Georgia at third with 3 as well, and Bulgaria at dead last. Group F, Portugal and Ireland both have 6 points, while Hungary and Armenia have 0. Now onto the groups of 5. Netherlands are at first with 12 points, Poland at second with 9, Finland at third with 7, Lithuania at fourth with 5, and Malta at last with 1. Group H, Austria and Bosnia both have 12 points, Romania at third with 9, fourth is Cyprus with 3, and fifth is San Marino. Group I, Norway are obviously still at first place with 15 points. Second is Israel with 12, but they do have more matches played than Italy. They are in front of them as Italy have 9 points. Estonia are fourth with 3, and fifth are Moldova with 0. Group J, Macedonia still hang on to that lead with 11 points. Belgium are at second with 10. They're catching up. Third, Wales also have 10. Fourth, Kazakhstan with 3, and Liechtenstein at last with 0. Group K, despite getting that draw, England are still undefeated with 13 points. Serbia are second with 8. Albania are third with 8. Fourth is Latvia with 4 points, and fifth is Andorra with none. And finally, Group L, Croatia and Czechia both share points at the top, but Croatia do have one last match played. Montenegro and Faroe Islands also share points at third and fourth, and at fifth is Gibraltar with no points. Let me know as always where I messed up in the comments. Don't forget to leave a like on this video if you have not already, and subscribe if you're new for much more World Cup content to come. I will see you all very, very soon. Take care. Boa noite.